Today's episode is brought to you by Hero Forge. Hero Forge is going to get some cool custom minis you can use in your next D&D session or just, have to have, baby. Also, today we're brought to you by Me Undies. Me Undies are the undies that I have on me. Now let's jump into this podcast. Hello, everybody. It's time for Ghosts and Crendor.
Ghosts and Crendor in the morning.
In the morning. Broadcasting live. Before our recording studio recording. Wake your ass up! It's up Crendor in the morning. Hello, everybody! Welcome to another episode of Ghosts and Crendor in the morning.
Yeah, here we're back.
You sound so excited. You really bring the energy every week.
Honestly, sometimes I just try to think up like a fun new way to say hello, and then it just becomes like gibberish.
Well, that's because your fun new ways of saying hello usually are like that. So
yeah, there's really no better way to say hello than canting some sort of chanting, or I can't even say chanting, some sort of witchcraft.
Canting a chant, dude. You got to cant a chant.
Spell. You got to cant a chant.
Mm-hmm. I get
I've always
it.
said you got to cant the chant. What is canting? Isn't that like?
I don't know. Google it right now. What does the internet tell you?
Canting.
I would love to know.
Talk hypocritically and sanctimoniously about something. Example, if they'd stop canting about honest work, they might get somewhere.
Ah, well, maybe we'll have a cant chant.
I guess you could have a cant chant.
I do not want to be here today. You're only paying me $7.25. Right?
Yeah. In fact, canting is from the Latin cantare, to sing, and then English chant, and then it's combined into cant in the early 16th century.
I'm telling you, dude, we basically just brought it back.
We did.
I hope everyone starts canting more and more.
Wait, hold on. Then it goes, there's medieval Latin cantus, which was corner side, and then Middle Dutch of cant, point side edge, and then Middle Low German cant. Words.
Are you learning about the origin of words? Are you just doing it right now?
Yeah, why not?
You're like, whoa.
Everyone.
Do you know words come from places, dude?
It's more so finding out where they come from. It's like, dude, that's pretty crazy. And everybody's learning at home. Now you know about canting. You can go to work tomorrow and be like,
yep.
Did you guys know about canting? And they'll be like, God, I didn't want to wake up and come to work today.
And you'll be like, that's canting.
Yeah.
You guys are living it right now.
It's like Garfield with Mondays. Like, I feel like, why does Garfield hate Mondays? Like, he's just a cat.
Do you think it's because he spends the whole weekend with John and he loves John really? And John goes to work Mondays, and so he's finally alone after a weekend of love?
No. In fact, I don't think John works. Now that I think about it. He never really does anything.
He tries to get dates. That's work.
Yeah, but he's not making money from it. Like, I don't know how he's paying for everything. Because I guess on Monday, Garfield has a lot of bad luck. So I think he's more spiteful of Monday because of the luck and, like, all these bad things happen. But I guess it's just the start of the week for most people. So like, God, back at the grind. Here we go again. Garfield. Wait, is he a writer? Oh, I get it. John's a cartoonist.
Ah, well,
Yeah.
that explains everything, really.
That does explain everything.
It explains John. It explains the cat situation. Whoa,
Yeah.
Dude, do you think canonically John is the writer of Garfield telling stories about Garfield?
Jim Davis?
No. No.
Okay.
Do you think John's job is he goes and makes comics very similar to Jim Davis, but about his own cat Garfield?
Oh.
And that's his comic series.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know if we ever see John's comics or if he talks about it.
No, we do see John's comics because every Garfield comic strip is a comic about Garfield from John's perspective.
Dude, we're getting into like metaphysics.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I could see it, like personally, but then I feel like at that point, Jim Davis is John, and then you have like these weird parallel dimensions.
No. Either Jim Davis is John Arbuckle's pseudonym, or Jim Davis uses John Arbuckle because John Arbuckle's a stupid name,
Right.
and he uses that to like maybe it's like when someone goes to Reddit and tells a story. It's like, I'm gonna change the names, right? Maybe his cat's name is Cleveland, and his dog's name is Modo, and he wants to tell the story, but he just changes the names. But that's really what happens to him the entire time.
Now, I've got something I found on Wikipedia I gotta show you.
Oh no, yeah.
So this is the first ever.
Whoa!
So apparently, the character of John Arbuckle was envisioned by Jim Davis as an author surrogate and was the primary character of the comic strip John, created by Davis in 1976 and syndicated locally in the Indiana newspaper.
So it was originally a cartoon about a cartoonist created by a cartoonist from the perspective of the cartoonist. However, people did not give a damn about the cartoonist and instead wanted more of the cat, and so Garfield took over.
Yeah. They're just
Amazing.
like, oh, hey, this guy, he's probably writing this comic like, this will be fun. It's like a cartoonist's life and all this stuff. And Garfield's just like, I hate this guy. And everyone's like, yo, I love that cat.
Yeah, really? Garfield is the Family Matters of the cartoon world.
Yeah. And then it just became Urkel. Just like,
Yeah.
oh, you watched Urkel? You're like, Family Matters? Like, no, Urkel.
Yeah, everyone tuned in for Urkel. You did not care about the brother. You did not care about, like, the only thing you cared about was, will the dad and Urkel get in a fight, or will Steve Urkel turn into Urkel and, like, try to get with the girl? Like, that's all people cared about.
Yeah. So really what we've learned is that you should never focus on a main character. Always go to your weird side character and be like, which side character is gonna be most loved, and then that will be my main character. Unless you get a thing like Family Guy or those spin-off shows where they're like, what if we have the Cleveland show? And it's like, nobody cares. So it could go both ways. It could also be bad the other way.
I guess cats are universal, dude. I try to think of it. Cats, people love cats. They're so sassy.
It's true. People do love cats. I love cats.
Yep. I'm
I used to not
aware.
like
You
cats.
love cats so much you refuse to give them man names.
Man names.
That's how I've decided the reason why you call cat is because you don't want to plague it with its slave name. You're like, you are cat. I will give you no human name.
The thing is, like, I also like when people name their animals after just random stuff. They're like, oh, there's like peanut butter, or like there's like refrigerator. Like, I
like
think
that
that's more
too.
fun than like Bob.
Yeah. Plus, if you're gonna have like a big dog, calling him the fridge is pretty great.
That would be pretty great. Just like the
Oh, here comes the fridge. He's like, he's like drooling and stuff.
yeah, it's just like more fun. It's like, hey, it's a goofy animal instead of
Yeah,
just like
plus,
this
if
is.
you call that dog Steve and he's drooling everywhere, people can be like, "What do you got against Steve, man? That dog is a mess."
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of that. Or just cat.
Yeah, or just cat.
So how's your week going?
As you know, TikTok is down at the moment. Who knows what's going to happen with
No,
it?
it's back up.
Immediately back up?
Yeah, it's up now.
Crazy. That was the shortest ban in the history of bans. No,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
use
woke up,
use
it's back
TikTok.
up.
I have no clue. Well, the good news for me, the reason why I say is because this past week, all of my social media was being flooded with people asking me, "Yo, enjoying your iPad?" And I have no idea what that means. Couldn't tell you.
Wait.
Just wait. All week on everything from Facebook to Instagram to Twitter to Blue Sky, everywhere. People are like, YouTube especially. There was one video, I guess the most recent one. All the comments are like, "Enjoying your laptop?" Had no idea what it was about. Was like, all right, that's weird. So people started sending me a video from TikTok. I guess a multi-million follower TikToker who does that like, "Hey man, I do comedy bits, but also I go around and like talk to people on the street. You know, like that kind of guy. And he approached a dude who has a strong Jesse aura. And he was like, hey, mystery box or $1? And the guy goes, mystery box? And he's like, good boy. And he keeps doing that every time. And the guy keeps looking at him weird. And he's like, good boy. It has that real awkward,
right?
Like if
That's
I'm Gen Z, it's hilarious.
For.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so he keeps asking him. And the dude he's interviewing turns the camera and just gives a straight on shout out to youtube.com/Jesse Cox, which is hilarious. And the thing is, because I had done that and told that story to, I think, both you and a bunch of other people, I think this hero heard it and did the exact same thing. And so the funny part is he looks just close enough to me. Again, my mom absolutely correct when she says all nerds start to look like me after a while, which is really funny. He definitely has some Jesse vibes and says this. And so all the comments are about like, yo, I should go check out Jessica. And I'm like, all right, interesting. But it's because half of them just think that guy's me. And so it's people fighting over whether that guy is actually me or not, which is hilarious. Some people are like, he doesn't even look like him. And other people are like, well, why would he say to go to this site if it isn't his own site? That doesn't make any sense. It was just, dude, I became famous on some other guy's thing. It was incredible. So I've just been basking in the fame of the internet for a while. People are just like, you didn't even thank him for that iPad. I'm like, nope, no, I didn't. I'm just enjoying it. But what's funny is it happened 5 days before TikTok was supposed to shut down, but I guess it's back now. But I was like, I became TikTok famous, and it wasn't even me.
That is pretty great.
Yep.
It's they must be a listener of one of your mediums.
100%. Oh yeah. The thing is, I feel like I've seen him before at an event, but I just don't know. Because again, and I must stress, I have a large contingent of clones out there. There are many red-bearded big dudes who look like me who just exist.
You just got a factory. You're just pumping them out.
I'm telling you, we are a different breed. There are a lot of us. I don't know what was happening during some period of, I don't even, like on that family tree, there's got to be a connector somewhere between all of us. We are our own genus. Yeah.
It's like Lord of the Rings. There's like an old family member like Sauron, and he's like, rise. He's like, puts his hand on like Uruk-hai. There's like, oh my God, another red-bearded nerd.
We all popped out of little bubbles in the earth, and we're like, hey, what's up? Yeah. My parents never did tell me how I was born. I assume earthly bubble. Yeah.
That's probably your dad was born the same way.
We all came from there
lineage.
Long ago, back in Middle Earth, and that's where we're all from. Yep.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so that was the whole thing. That was funny. People were still doing it, and they were like, hey, have you seen this? I was like, oh, I saw it. Oh, I've seen this. Trust me.
Oh, speaking of seen things, I saw Sonic 3.
Yes. Did you enjoy it?
It was a Sonic movie. Like, it's about what I expected. It's much like, when I saw Garfield, I was like, it was Garfield. Although when with that, I was like, if Chris Pratt was in Garfield, I would have liked it more. But, it was Sonic. Now, here's the thing. I haven't seen Sonic 1 or 2.
Wait, what? All right, then of course you'd be like, what the shit? Okay.
But I know of Sonic things because of the Sonic Symphony, of course.
Wait, I'm so confused. You just went to go see Sonic 3.
Well,
for what
reason? One of our friends was like, you want to just go to the movies? I was like, okay. I had popcorn. Mainly just wanted to go see a movie. And I was like, you know what? I know what to expect from Sonic. Like, you kind of know what you're getting into, right? So we went to Sonic 3. It was, honestly, Jim Carrey as the Eggman is pretty good.
He's the best part for me. Hands down. The rest of the movie.
Have you seen Sonic 3?
I've seen all 3 Sonic movies. I must stress, I'm not the hugest Sonic fan in the world, mostly because of Sonic.
Really?
Just genuinely, Sonic as a character, they made him from a little tiny blue man who rolls into a ball and goes, like speeds away, who really had no character. aside from when he drowns, but he really had no character. And then they made him kind of like, hey, I'm crazy cool. I love chili dogs and speed. And you're like, ugh. He is the least cool character in all of Sonic, and he's the main one.
Also,
yeah, never
chili
been a
dogs
Sonic
and
fan.
speed sounds like a Hollywood biography of somebody.
Yeah, you can get that down at Pink's, I think. There's something about Sonic I just never got. It's not like he's a bad character. It's never got me. I was never a big Sonic fan. However, I'm a big fan of like the concept of Knuckles, and Knuckles is a character I always loved, even as a kid. I thought that was cool. Also because he was like, I'm the bad one, you know?
Right.
But then I fell off well before it got ridiculous, where they were like, let's introduce Shadow, he has a gun, and let's introduce Robot Sonic. Like all that stuff, that was not my scene at all. That's definitely a generation thing below me. But yeah, I don't know. Something about the Sonic movies, I was like, okay, there's clearly like some 4Kids bits here, and I'll let that slide because that's kind of what the movie is. But Jim Carrey on screen, hilarious every single time. Clearly there for the adults. Big fan.
I know Dodger saw it with her kid, and I didn't listen to the entire segment. I just saw, did she like it?
Yeah, I mean, she likes the same things that I liked when it came to like, you know, Robotnik and all those guys.
Okay.
But her enjoyment came from her kid being there and like all the kids she was with. And they were blown away by it and they were loving it. Honestly, I told her, and I'll tell you this, I don't want to go with kids. I want to go with like the GameCube kids, you know, the like dudes who are like, you know, late 20s right now who just still are really into Sonic, and they will sing along to the theme song, and they'll be like, oh, I know this and this and this. I want to go with them because that would be my watching kids enjoy thing. You know what I mean?
I don't, because those are the people I got COVID from at the Sonic Symphony. So, listen, I'm all for them having fun, celebrating. I just, not during COVID season anymore.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, at least this time I didn't get sick, right? Funnily enough, we were the only people in the movie theater, so that was pretty great. We did go at like 9:30 p.m. on a like Wednesday. So here are the things that I noticed from this movie, which are probably not things most people are normally going to notice. Okay. Number one, I instantly knew that the like Sonic mom, I think it's like his mom or I don't know the lore, right? She is the woman from Medea's Christmas.
Wait, what?
You didn't notice that? I kept being like, I know this woman from somewhere. You mean the human? Yeah.
The family that he lives with?
Yes.
Cyclops.
I don't know.
Oh boy. All right, yeah. Okay, yes. I know what you mean.
Yeah. Her name in the movie is Maddie.
Yeah.
She is the woman from Medea's Christmas. And I was just like, that's Medea's Christmas woman. That's all I could think of every time I saw her.
Tika
Sumpter.
Yes. Awesome. Love that for her.
So I noticed that. Then there were certain things where I was just like, is this like Sonic canon? Like the guy that is the assistant of Dr. Robotnik just felt like he didn't belong in the movie.
He is so in the original movie, Robotnik didn't look like he looks now. He was like a slick, you know, kind of Elon Musky looking dude. And this was his assistant. And his assistant was like a little punk guy, Agent Stone. And at the end of the movie, he gets like zapped, and that's how he becomes, you know, he got the crazy mustache and he's like lost his hair. And he's stuck on a different world. And so, yeah, in the first movie, Agent Stone as a character is created for the movie. Just like Maddie and Cyclops. They were created for the movie.
I see, okay. Because it would feel weird because it almost felt like he would act next to Jim Carrey where Jim Carrey's just like going crazy and you're just like, oh shit. And then he would just be like, hey, everyone, it's me, the assistant guacamole. And I was just like, what?
That's the bit. That's the bit. Is he's the normal guy? Yeah, that's it. The bit is he's the normal one, and everyone else is crazy. Yeah.
So I just felt like I was being like warped all around. I was like, oh, okay, hold on.
Yeah, at the end of the second movie, for example, Robotnik's in a giant Robotnik machine, and he's in the center of it piloting it, and his assistant is in like a DJ booth playing music the entire time. It's a bit, is what it is. Is it a good bit? I don't know, but I laugh every time, so I'm here for it.
Then there was like certain things in the movie that just felt like Jim Carrey wrote them in.
Oh, again, let me stress. There's Sonic movie, and then there's Jim Carrey in the Sonic movie, and 100%. That is so like the dance scene with him and his dad.
Yep.
That's just because Jim Carrey would dance on In Living Color back in the day, and he knows how to dance. So they just like, let's go, and they put it in, and they like that's just, I'm sure, like a full day of just improv, and they just edited it together.
Yeah. No, that scene specifically, I was like, that feels like Jim Carrey put that in.
Yeah.
The fourth wall breaking where he's like, we're the same actor. Then they look, and I was like, that definitely feels like a Jim Carrey thing. And then the one line in the movie that felt like the most Jim Carrey line is when they're in the gravity machine, and the woman in charge of the military thing like knocks him down. She's just like, blah, blah. I don't remember what she says. And he just goes, oh my God, there's women in the military? And I was like, what?
So again, this is what happens when you miss two movies. That's kind of like his shtick is in the first movie, he goes to, so the army's looking for Sonic since he like comes to Earth, and they're like, there's this thing, and it's blue. So they send him in to find Sonic. And he gets there, and he just like shits on the entire military. That's like his whole goof in the first movie.
I see.
Like, you know, that's his thing. Is every movie he kind of like poo-poos everyone is lesser than him.
Mm-hmm.
And so it carries over. It's I'm again shocked you did not see the first two movies and went into this blind. I love that for you. I think that's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, overall, like it was a solid, you know. It was what I expected from a Sonic movie. I
can't believe I'm here justifying scenes from Sonic 3. Like, well, actually, canonically, that would be correct. Like, whoa. What happened to me?
Kid.
Yeah, I clearly I've become the GameCube kid.
You just open your like TV, what do you call it, cabinet thing. There's just a GameCube in there now. You're just like, how'd that get in there?
Throw it out. It comes back the next day.
Yeah. It's like a copy of Sonic shows up.
You're it opens up and there's like Smash Bros in it. I'm like, I don't even like this game.
Like aside from that, you know, it was Sonic. I thought Keanu Reeves was like, I thought he sounded like Sonic the Hedgehog, but sometimes it felt like he just woke up and voiced it. Like he's kind of like, I gotta do this. This is like, Sonic, what are you doing? Like, but he's all right.
I mean, that's been Keanu Reeves' thing. Every time he acts, is no matter what movie you watch or game you play or whatever, sometimes he's like, we've got to stop them. They're going to kill us all. And then sometimes he's like, hey, man, whatever works. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
If you want the best version of that, go watch the movie Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Keanu Reeves is in that movie, and it is a crazy casting choice because he's acting, but like everyone in the movie is like, yes, we must stop the vampire. And he's like, I gotta do what I gotta do, my lord. You're like, whoa, wait, what?
like it's just it's like Nick Cage will do that sometimes. You can tell he's just like, I just gotta do this movie. He's just kind of winging it. But then other times he's like really into it.
It's very clear that it's acting choices as well, and it's just the way they're voiced. Like Keanu is just a dude who sounds like he lives at the beach all the time. But then he's in movies, so he's acting, he's making acting choices, and some of those choices revert to dude living on the beach. It's very funny.
So yeah, it was overall, it was all right. I'd give it like a 6 or 7 out of 10. You know, probably the same as like Garfield or any of those. Garfield would have been 7 if Chris Pratt didn't bring it down to a 6, which again, just anybody but Chris Pratt. He's Chris Pratt. He's not Garfield. All right, like get what's his name again? The Bill Murray.
Bill Murray's
Bill
just
Murray to
too
do
old
Garfield.
though. Like bless
That's
Bill Murray.
perfect.
You want Garfield to be like old.
Yeah, I mean Garfield is old at heart.
I guess you're right.
He's just kind of like even when you listen to the old cartoons and stuff, where he's just like, "Odie, here we go. We're just gonna do what we're doing. Hey, Grandma."
The problem is Garfield needs to skew younger, or we need to stop making Garfield movies. You know what I mean? Like, I'm super interested in what the demo is, say, for people who go see a Garfield movie. The people that did must have some connection to Garfield. I don't think people just show up for a Garfield movie. You know what I mean? And most people who have a connection are older people. A great example of connections and going to see movies is that Robbie Williams movie where he's the monkey.
What?
Exactly. So the fact that you
monkey.
don't even know what it is. Robbie Williams, if you were a 90s, I'll say 80s kid who grew up in the 90s.
Mm.
It might have been early 2000s too. Robbie Williams was kind of had a little I was about to say penetration of the market here, but that sounds really weird. But
Yep.
big British star. And potentially around the rest of the world, I don't know. But in the States, he had one or two songs and then was gone. And I'll be honest, I thought he just fell off until I realized that in the UK he's still extremely popular and still makes a ton of music. And it's one of those things where because American audiences just don't know who he is, when a biopic about him comes out that I'm sure did great in the UK, when it comes to the States, no one saw it. Like, no one saw it. And people were like, well, why would they do this? It doesn't make any sense. And I think the reason is they were like, well, he did have a thing in the States, and if we just promote it as him being popular, people will go see it because it's, him as like an ape and it's a musical, da-da-da. People just didn't care. Like, there was no connection to it at all. At all. And that's, unfortunately the way it is with a lot of entertainment is unless you have some sort of buy-in to the product, be it Sonic or whatever, you're just not going to go watch it.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but I mean, there's still so many options.
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, no, that's it. There's so many options. I could either try something new that I don't know or do the 18 things that I love. So I'll just do the 18 things that I love, right? It's like when you go grocery shopping. Yeah, I could try that new thing, but boy, do I love this cereal. And you'll just get that because you know it, you like it, you love it. It's been consistent.
Wait, was Chris Pratt Garfield in a previous one?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Well,
Chris
then wouldn't
Pratt's
that be
done a
trying
lot of
something
stuff.
new?
No. I'm saying Garfield is a property, not the actor.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying if Chris Pratt is, well, I'm not sure what it is like now, but Chris Pratt for a time was like the it actor in Hollywood.
right.
and
He was Mario. He was
Yeah, he was there, and so they were just trying to get him in as much stuff as possible,
yeah.
just for name recognition. Like it's in the cultural ethos. We all know Garfield. It's very similar to like we all know Snoop Dogg, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we all like Garfield or we all like Snoop or whatever. We just know of it because it's been in the culture so long.
Snoop Dogg's in like every advertisement I ever see now.
Yeah, again, Snoop Dogg, a guy who 25 years ago your parents would tell you was going to ruin your life and make you become a debaucherous felon. And now it's like he and Martha Stewart cook sometimes. It's like,
Yeah.
Snoop.
Although she's also a criminal.
True.
Maybe. Garfield made $257 million at the box office, it says. And then, I mean, that's pretty good. Although it says here, a lot of people wish Nick Offerman would have done the Garfield voice.
Honestly, I'm here for that as well. Nick Offerman, I just love in general. Even though I think the last season of Umbrella Academy was kind of shit, Nick Offerman and his wife, who, man, I can't remember her name, but I just think of her as Karen from Will and Grace. The two of them are the villains in that season, and it's just watching them like riff off each other is hilarious. Last season of Umbrella Academy is big whatever, but those two steal the show the entire time. They're so funny. They're so good. I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, Nick Offerman rocks.
Yeah. So that would have been great. But here's the thing with Garfield. All right. He may be, outdated or like whatever, but Garfield, like we've said, is a cat. And people love cats.
Oh, no, I'm with you. The movie made money.
Yeah.
People like to see cats, and there were cats. Like, that's not even a question. The movie made money. I'm just saying, does that mean we'll get a sequel? Because they keep going back to it. They keep trying to make more Garfield movies, but every time it's like, people saw Garfield, but do they love Garfield? I don't know. Should we wait a while? Sure, let's wait a while. And then a new movie comes out with new CG with a new voice.
Yeah. I guess they do that with like literally everything. You're right. I mean, even we're at the point with like all the stuff that gets shows now, like Star Wars, how that used to be like, wow, we've barely gotten anything. And now it's like too much.
Yeah, well, Hollywood, they'll
nonstop.
milk everything dry. Like, that's their whole thing. I mean, especially with actors. There's a reason why people will turn on an actor. Like, remember when Melissa McCarthy was everywhere? Or Chris Pratt, like we were saying. Or I'm trying to think of all the different people that have existed. They're everywhere. There are very few actors that have the longevity of like a big-time famous actor. What Hollywood will do is they'll take an actor who's popular, put them in so many things because they're popular, and they'll get people in seats to the point where suddenly they're everywhere. Again, even The Rock, right? Everywhere, and you're like, I kind of hate this person now. They're in everything.
Yeah.
And the public like the public will turn on them, and then they aren't in stuff anymore. And suddenly they're the bad guy. And yeah, they'll show up every once in a while and do little bits, and they'll be a part of movies or whatever, but they won't be the driving star power they were because the public is like, you gave us too much. And they do that constantly. Hollywood will constantly do that. They will, when there was that time period in the early 2000s where it was like Seth Rogen was in every third movie. And then people were like, I hate his laugh. Go away. We don't like you anymore. And then he did. And then he was like, fine, I'm going to go make weed. And he did.
Yep. That's, I mean, every person has their arc like that. That's like famous at some point.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Like they just fall off or they stop caring or whatever. And they're like, so I made a brand of food, or like, here's my makeup line, or here's my, like, whatever.
That's because someone was like, you can monetize your audience. You don't have to get a real job.
Yeah. So I'm curious what we'll be doing in 20 years when we create our crazy lines of product.
You literally sell tea right now. Are you kidding me? We are 20 years later. we are what happens afterwards.
Now, it's coffee. All right.
Sure. Yeah. My bad.
Sweatpants.
Coffee and
Coffee and
sweatpants. You found your thing.
And maybe I lean more into that. Maybe I finally write my book, become an author. You never know.
The real end game for you, I think, is actually making high level, real comfy sweatpants.
Oh yeah. No, I've thought of that too.
Like that's
top tier.
Yes,
high
and then
end.
becoming that guy who owns sweatpants that are known around the world as like the comfiest sweatpants. That's your
I
end
remember.
goal.
It's I don't know if I brought it. I think it was probably this show because I don't know where else I'd talk about this unless it's like a random stream. But I feel like I wouldn't bring this up on a stream. I would need some like crazy other person to like brainstorm.
Happy to be that guy.
Yep. And I believe it was called Sweat, like SWET or like SW3T or just like some weird thing like Sweat. Mm-hmm. And then that way people are like, oh, this is Sweat brand. This is good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you could have the competition with Lululemon, you know what I mean? But it isn't yoga stuff. It's just sweatpants.
Yeah. In a world where everything is fast fashion, we are the slow fashion.
Yep, we're the slowest.
The slowest fashion around.
I mean, if they have things specifically for nurses, right? Or they have things specifically for, like construction workers or whatever, and they you could clearly find a target like, guys, do you just want to put on some gray sweatpants? Ladies, do you just want to look at guys in gray sweatpants? Have I got the sweatpants for you? Like, that's it. Simple. Done.
Yeah. Or comfort. It's all about comfort, quality. Like, just keep growing that comfort and quality.
I think you could do it. I really genuinely believe that is your ticket to what happened to Crendor. I don't know. He made $1 bajillion selling sweatpants, and now he vanished. I don't know what he's doing now.
I would just be like one of those weird hipster people that shows up, and they're just like, how did you form sweat? And I've got like a turtleneck, like glasses, even though I don't need glasses. I'm just like, sweat has been a long-lasting idea of mine. It's like a fish in a river that I caught.
Yep.
Also, Rip David Lynch.
Rip David Lynch. What a king.
Yep. Yeah. It's I'm glad to see all of his amazing quotes surfacing again.
Yes.
Which so many good ones.
I'm
really
shocked.
Really good.
I had never heard the focus on the donut, not the whole quote. I was like, that might be one of the most brilliant things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's genuinely very smart. I was like, oh, you know what? Yes, that's exactly right, David.
I love where he's in that interview. I think you sent it, and the guy's like, so where are these ideas coming from? And he's like, they're being thrown in from the other room. And the guy's like, where's the room? And he's like, I don't know, you go find it or something. Like, you got to go on your own journey, dude.
Yeah, and I get what he was trying to do as an interview. He was trying to get David to like expand upon his idea, but the idea is that it's your job to do that.
Yeah,
and I love
exactly.
that. It was such a good interview.
Yeah, which ties me back to my world building. So I talked about how I want to world build last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't remember. And so what I've learned is from world building, you learn like other things just kind of inherently. So you'll be like, oh, I want to learn about like how ore works. Like maybe these mountains have like an ore that's like iron or bronze, and then you're just like, well, how would that? And then you're like, well, I gotta look up smelting. And then you just start watching like smelting video. You're like, all right, so iron is formed. There's like, which by the way, the fact that humans figured out how to do this shit's insane. They're just like, here's how we did it. And it's like, you take the ore and you like put in the thing. And then there's like the bellows or the thing. They're just like, you need 2 of these because the fire's got to be hot. And there's like, and there's like pumping it. And they're like breaking it apart. So they're like, here's whatever it's called. I don't know. There's like so much shit. I was like, I don't need to know all this. But like, you kind of need to know somewhat about it. So you're not just like randomly throwing stuff out there. You don't really know what you're talking about.
Well, you're lore building for your book, correct?
Right.
So having that information, like having it be real, I think is what makes good books good. A great example is we've been reading a lot of old Star Wars books for our Star Wars Old Canon Book Club. And there are some books that are so clearly designed by a dude in the 80s who was very high and just made shit up. Because some things just don't make sense. And when you read it, you're like, this doesn't track with anything else we've ever learned ever about anything. But okay, sure. And
yeah,
it's that kind of thing that is annoying in books. But if you can take real world things and put it in the book and flavor it. So a great example is, now that you're on the track of metal, right? This is just an example. This is not what you have to do. But now that you're on the track of metal and early metal working by man, you should look up the Bronze Age collapse.
Oh, I think I was actually seeing that.
Because essentially, you have the Bronze Age and everyone's messing with bronze and the great civilizations are being built, and then people from the sea show up and ravage the coast, destroy, like civilizations crumble, and no one knows why. And I think that as a concept is interesting too. Like you could take that and be like, okay, this is similar to the history of my world. Like that kind of thing. And you just take bits from history, throw it in your stuff. Yeah, if you go look at George R.R. Martin or anyone else who's making fantasy books, right? They're just pulling from real world stuff or other works of fiction. Like some of the coolest parts of A Song of Ice and Fire, which is like the big Game of Thrones story arc. Some of the coolest parts are the fact that like Westeros and Essos and like boring, whatever. There's other places in the world with other weird shit. Like there's a city where all of the stone is this black inky goop stone, and there's weird monsters and stuff. Like there is clearly an eldritch horror thing happening in Game of Thrones, but it's like under the surface. Very similar to Fallout, where if you do Fallout, some missions will be like, we dug too deep and too greedily. There's something down there. And it's clearly some sort of Cthulhu-esque thing. And it's not the main point of the game. It just exists, but it's there for world building and fun stuff. And they just threw in shit that people enjoy. So when you stumble across it, you're like, wait a minute, what the hell does this mean? I love stuff like that. I love when they bring in outside things but flavor it with their own world. And that's always cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's always what I thought too, because it's like most things are just based off history, or they're following like the hero's journey or like whatever it might be. But yeah, I think the thing that's cool about world building is you build the world, but you're not sharing the entire world. Like you're just sharing little bits and pieces, and you know about it, and you know why this thing is the way it is. But then, like, you don't share things that aren't relevant to the story, because then you're going into like info dump territory, where you want to share it, but you're like blah blah blah, and then everyone's like, "Am I reading an almanac or am I reading a book?" Right?
That's what I love the most about the game Dishonored. Is Dishonored tells the story of this huge world, but you're only basically in the England of that world, and so you'll get notes and letters and stuff about this continent that they're trying to settle, but every time they go there, everyone just dies terribly. And there's also writings about how the whales might be sentient, and they're using whale blubber to, for oil, but the whales themselves are like magic properties. But none of it is seen. It's all written down. It's all what I imagine if you lived in England, people would read at like, mermaid found. Is it real? Or is it just something someone wrote? And I love that kind of stuff because, again, you're only seeing one section and you're experiencing one story, but you're finding out all this other stuff, and we'll never go there. We'll never know. But it opens up your imagination to be like, wow, what does that mean? Which, again, going back to like the George R. Martin, like weird black inky city, what does any of that mean? Will we ever know? No, we'll never know. But it exists in that world to make you wonder and think about it. And I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's also, I've heard a lot of people talk about magic because we've gotten into an era where a lot of people use hard magic systems like explaining stuff. But sometimes like you just like not knowing how things work. It's like the Force from Star Wars. Like people are like, how's the Force work? They're like, I don't know. It's just they use it. And then when they start explaining how the Force works, it like
sucks.
loses some of that like magic to it, right? You're like, oh, I guess that's how it works. Cool. Like it's almost like even in World of Warcraft they would just be like, here's the old gods, and you're like, whoa, this is weird and crazy how these work, they're so mysterious, and they're just like, oh, here's how this happened, and like just fully explain it. You're like, oh, okay. And that just loses all of that.
I remember being in original Vanilla WoW and finding that disc, and then going to a cave entrance that was destroyed, but there was like a thing you could put the disc into, and it would tell you this tale about the Titans and the old gods, and you're like, whoa, what does any of this mean? And in Vanilla WoW, there was no follow-up. It just was a thing you found that was interesting. And then over time, they were like, no, that's actually the most important thing in the entire game. And that's fine, except once you start to get the answers, it kind of ruins it. But I guess that's everything, right? If you are afraid of, I don't know, dogs, the more you learn about dogs, the less afraid you become.
Right.
Just like if you're in a horror game and you see the monster enough times, you're no longer scared of the monster. You're just frustrated. This son of a bitch won't stop following you, right? And that's, it kind of ruins the fun the more you learn. There's a brilliance to not showing stuff.
Yeah. And I think sometimes the payoff can be good and the payoff can be bad, obviously, but like it's the way it's done. Like, for example, if you watch Game of Thrones and you get to the later seasons, people have already crafted their theories and they're just like, this is going to happen. I bet this is a thing. And then they just rush through it. They reveal all the stuff. And it's just like, it feels ruined because they kind of did a disservice to it. Because they're just like, wow, here's all these cool theories people made. Here's all this like stuff the show's built up to. And then they're just like, oh, whatever. And it's like, so I think rushing to it is one of the worst things you can do as well.
Oh, yeah. I grew up with Lost, so I know.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's just like, it just doesn't feel, I don't know, it's good. Like, for example, Attack on Titan, I remember being like, dude, this show's crazy. Like, what's beyond the wall? Like, what's in the basement? And then you learn what's beyond the wall, and you learn what's in the basement. And I was just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, it just, I was like, I guess that's cool. Like, it just didn't really interest me or, like, drive me to keep watching it. So sometimes it's just like, the mystery is just more fun than the actual, like, thing itself.
That's the curse, though, right? You have to deliver. Like, if you set up a mystery, and this is a problem with Attack on Titan, it's a problem with The Matrix, right? The problem with anytime you set up a mystery with anything, the audience start to craft their own solutions, and some of them might be better than what you've thought of. And the idea of nailing that ending is very, very hard. It's the reason why I'm extremely worried about the third Final Fantasy game. Final Fantasy VII, whatever comes after Rebirth, like, they clearly, in the first game, in Remake, and in Rebirth, set up a mystery. Like, a mystery is happening that is metaphysical and spiritual and multidimensional, just like crazy shit, right? But it's such a big mystery with so many levels to it that I'm terrified that they're going to do a cop-out ending for the third game where none of it really mattered, and what, like, really mattered was, you know, the characters and their emotions or something. It's like, you can't set up a mystery and then be like, actually, the mystery was never important. I'm worried it's going to be something like that. Or, you know, like in The Matrix, they set up this huge thing, and I think about it all the time, how cool my friends and I thought, like, the idea of, how is it Agent Smith is outside of the Matrix? It's a Matrix within a Matrix, dude. They were never free. It was all a scam by the... Like, that to me seemed awesome. Like, what a crazy twist. Nah, dude, he was like Jesus or something. Neo was basically computer Jesus, I guess, was what we learned. And that was it. That was that.
Yeah. And it just, I think it also, like with Game of Thrones, it just didn't fit the show. Like, you could tell that the writing, like, it started to sway more Hollywood than actual book. Like, the same way you could watch The Hobbit and know which parts are Hollywood and which parts aren't.
Sure. I mean, there was no book. They were going off the Hollywood. The only book was the Hollywood playbook at that point. And they were like, well, the fans like this character, so let's just keep him alive. Again, from what so I've read, obviously I don't know what the newest books are because they don't exist yet, but I've read all the books that do exist. And they just kept characters around in the show because people liked them. Like, that's it. There's some characters who are definitely destined to die, and they were just like, nah, we like them more. Or some characters who did die. A great example is Catelyn Stark in the books comes back as like a crazed psycho killer with her throat slashed, and she's like some sort of whitish ghoul character, and she goes around seeking revenge. That is not in the show at all. And you know, I can understand why Hollywood's like, well, we're going to bring back an actress and just have her be like a ghoul creature. Like, that's stupid. Let's just kill off her character. It'll be more impactful. Like, I get why Hollywood does what it does, but it's very obvious that at that point, when you start changing things a lot, then overall, 7, 8, 12 episodes down the road, things will be different.
Yeah. And I guess that's also true with Hollywood, is they have to think of the actors and paying people and everything. While it's a book, you're just like, I just write. And that's like it. I mean, oh my God, that reminds me of even like WoW with Sylvanas. It was like, she could have just died after the whole Arthas thing. And then they're just like, I think people like Sylvanas. What if she's like still alive? And it's just like you can usually start telling when things are shoehorned in.
Yes. Yeah. And also, I mean, again, WoW's a great example too, because it's been around so long, but just the idea that they very clearly started to make the Black Prince a thing, and then another team took over and was like, we don't like that character, and just didn't mess with him. And then years later, they bring him back for a totally unrelated thing that has nothing to do with his whole purpose. And he's like, I'm here to help you. It's like, where were you when we needed you, bro? Doesn't matter. Ignore that shit. I'm back now. Like, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's been my world building journey. It's just like, oh, not even world building, but I've also just been watching writing stuff of like, there's there's this one man named, he's got the most like Jerry Jenkins, the most like made up name. He's just like a 21-time New York Times best-selling author. He's got a YouTube channel, and he just gives like really good writing advice. So if you want to get any writing tips, go watch Jerry Jenkins. In fact, oh my God, wait, hold on. Is this Left Behind? Hold on. I'm in a crazy rabbit hole right now. He helped write Left Behind, which was a Nick Cage movie in 2014.
I was about to say, Jerry Jenkins, looking him up right now. Jerry Jenkins is the guy who made the Left Behind books, which are about the rapture. So you're like learning everything you need to know about Christian book writing.
I really am.
That's really funny to me.
But it doesn't really reference like actual like specific. He's more just like generic writing tips that are like pretty good. Like he's like giving you tips on like how to write dialogue, how to write from different points of view, how to write, how to like break your story down with like the hero's journey and stuff. It's kind of like Brandon Sanderson also did that on YouTube, but it's one of those things where it's good to watch like both to get different perspectives and what they think. It's really kind of like being in school in a class, but without having to go to a school because they're just kind of teaching you, which I guess is the power of the internet as well. So that was really interesting. But the main thing I wanted to bring up from world building was I was looking at, because I looked at ore and stuff, then I looked at blacksmithing, because I was like, okay, like how do they do blacksmithing and stuff, because that's kind of correlated. And then
really quickly,
I realized
really quickly before, because we're going to move on from Jerry B. Jenkins.
Sure, right.
I must say, Jerry B. Jenkins, years ago, he looked like he morphed into Terry Bradshaw. And then he has continued as he's aged to turn into James Carville. And it's so fun. Look at this man. He is so funny looking. I love Jerry. Your books weird me out, but I love you, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
Please continue.
No, I agree. And so what I realize is there's so many shitty AI videos on topics like that with history. And it's like, and you'll always tell because it has that text-to-speech kind of voice going on. Like, I'll be like, oh, okay, we're going to learn about blacksmithing. It's just like showing some weird static image or like AI-generated image, and it's doing the like camera pan slowly down. It's just like, blacksmithing was a thing in numerous times in history that was a thing.
I thought you were going to say it was the voice that was like, this kind of blacksmithing is used throughout history. Like, that's not the voice, but you know what I mean? It's kind of got like a sassy attitude, like a deeper voice, and it's the one they use all the time now in speech to text, especially if it's like, ladies, this is one trick men will never know on how you can control their minds with laser beams. And you're like, what the shit? What?
Yeah, no, it's I mean, they got some with those. It really just depends. Different videos use different voices. But I hate it. I'm just like, I just want to find something as an AI YouTube learning, and then I'll find like some actual blacksmith. He's like, I've been blacksmithing 45 years. Let me teach you how to do this shit. And I'm like, all right, here we go. This is what I'm looking for.
That's what I'm here for. I love going to watch, man, what is that guy's name? He's like an old cowboy, and he cooks outside. And I don't know his name.
I've seen him.
I love that dude. I like watching. It's like a young guy, and he does medieval weapon stuff. And people ask him questions, and he'll be like, "All right, let's test, and I'll show you."
That's kind of what's fun to learn, because you don't have to really. It's not like you're going to craft an entire armor system based off that. I mean, you can, because that's like world building, but it's like you just kind of know how it is, and then by knowing that, you can play around with like, is this like magical? Can you make it magical? How do people make it? Is it worth selling? Is it worth wearing? What makes it? So you could have like so many different things. So it's just fun to like create stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And I think what's more fun about that compared to like so many other mediums is that it's all imagination based. which I just think is always the best. Like that's like you always hear people be like, "Oh, the book is better than the movie" or whatever. But then when you actually do read the book, you're like, "Wow, that really is better than the movie," because it's like you can use your imagination and you like just create everything in your head and the characters and all that stuff. And then when you see a movie, you're just like, "That's not the character I read about," because it's like so different. Unless they've like casted it really well or something.
Yeah, it's very similar to when you play a video game that has a remake, but it's from 20 years ago where there was no voice acting in games. And then now they have voices, and you're like, that's not how I thought that character sounded at all. But here we are.
Yeah. I'll give you one Jerry Jenkins tip here.
Oh, boy. Yes.
All right. I heard.
Always keep the Lord first.
Yeah, he said, let Jesus write your dialogue. Take the wheel.
Let Jesus take the pen.
He said, when you write dialogue, a lot of people make the mistake of kind of kind of info dumping in the dialogue. So, for example,
Sure.
they'll be like, oh man, I haven't seen you, Carol, since the accident that happened 25 years ago in Cincinnati. And then he's like, a better way to do it is you have two characters be like, man, I haven't seen you since Cincinnati. And she'll be like, can we not talk about Cincinnati? And she's like, yeah, I don't really want to talk about it. It's hard to bring up. And then they move on. And then you're just like, well, what happened in Cincinnati? So like automatically you've like created this intrigue and like you want to know more. And then maybe later on someone's like, oh man, I haven't seen you since the accident. And then you start like piecing it together. Like instead of just being like, I haven't seen you since this thing happened in this place where this is the, and it's just like, there's nothing's making you read on because you're like, well, I guess I know everything now.
Sure. I mean, that is unfortunately something you have to do sometimes, not in books, but in short form content. If you have to explain something quickly so your audience understands, sometimes you just do it. Obviously, I think it's a cop-out to have a character be like, the emotion chamber. When you go inside, all of your emotions will be sucked out. So stay away from there as much as you can. Like, obviously,
Right.
It sucks to do that. But sometimes in like a 2-hour movie, for example, you just have to say it, get it out of the way, and keep moving on. So later when there's a payoff to that thing, people are all on the same page rather than, what was that guy doing in there? All of his emotions are gone. Oh, that was the emotion machine. Yeah, you guys probably shouldn't have touched that. Which, again, is a fun way to do it, but it's not done often. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that was cool. He's got like little tips like that where you're just like, that's pretty cool. Like that helps you, write better. So that's what I've been doing. Fun times.
Yep. Well,
But you know what else is fun?
okay. I thought you were going to say, it's going to help you write better, but here we are. This will not, actually. But you will have fun. Today we're sponsored by Hero Forge. Hero Forge offers fully customizable tabletop miniatures with dozens of fantasy species and thousands of parts to choose from. It's super easy. They have a design tool built into the website that you can use. It's fully 3D, in-depth character creator thing right there in your browser. Different materials, color options. You can download the files to your 3D printer if you want to. They've got a constantly expanding catalog. Plus, they have this face thing now, a customizer, where you can go in and just edit all sorts of different parts of the face, from the scalp to the eyebrows to the nose, the jawline, to so much more. They've got presets and little sliders, and, you can control every aspect of it. And that's just the face. You got arms and stuff you can move and pose, and there's just so many different weapons you can choose from. It's really, really great for customizing a mini for your character in whatever thing you're playing or doing. And if you're a pro subscriber, they have a kit bashing feature where you can just sort of mash together all sorts of cool things. You can add up to 20 more items onto your mini, with each individual item having independent scaling and rotation and movement and all sorts of different things. So you can have some really wild looking dudes. Now, Crendor and I, we went wild, but mostly because we chose animals, which you can totally do. You can pick just random animals and you can make them look like little tiny goobers of magic and hang out and do cool things. And that's what we did. I have a duck with a magic hat surrounded by flaming candles and a bloody skull. That's my magic duck, and I love him. I love Magic Duck. The great news is you can get them in regular plastic, premium plastic, color printed plastic, bronze, color standees, all sorts of things. Again, I mentioned the digital minis, the STLs, if you want a 3D print, all that kind of stuff. Hero Forge rocks. And you don't have to take our word. Just go and mess around with it, and you'll see for yourself. You'll be like, oh my God, I kind of want to buy this. And the best way to do that is by going to heroforge.com and using code Crendor to get 5% off all your physical miniatures. Again, that's heroforge.com. Code Crendor for 5% off all your physical miniatures. Also, today we're brought to you by MeUndies. MeUndies are the undies that I have on me, and they have been for some time. It's that time of year again. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and what can I say, fellas? If you're lucky, you're about to show your loved one your MeUndies, if you know what I'm saying. And MeUndies can help you look very nice this season of love with a contoured pouch and ball caddy in their newest MeUndies. Every Valentine's Day needs a Valentine's night, and MeUndies is your perfect thirst trap to get in the right mood. Choose from tons of awesome Valentine's Day prints and styles, and match your undies with your special someone with an extra special holiday treat. The contoured pouch and ball caddy is a great way to get all your bits down there in one place, fellas, and it keeps it nice and safe and just comfortable as all MeUndies really are. From classic black colors to fun and expressive prints, MeUndies has a look for everyone. They've got sexy new V-Day prints like electric hearts and lovebirds, plus they come in sizes extra small to 4XL, guaranteeing a flattering cut for every body. They also have loungewear and things like joggers, hoodies, onesies, and so much more. And their signature fabric is micro-modal future tech. I still don't know how they get it to be that way. Is incredible. Every single person who has talked to me about MeUndies, who has used our code, has said, my God, Jesse, they feel so, so good. Every single one. At shows, our boy Davis, everyone's in on it, and I'm just so happy that you love them. And if you're not happy with your first pair of undies, it's on them. MeUndies is totally fine taking the hit on that. This Valentine's Day, good things come in big packages at MeUndies. Get 20% off your first order plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/Crendor.
That's
and
me.
use code Crendor. That's MeUndies.com/Crendor, code Crendor for 20% off plus free shipping. MeUndies, comfort from the outside in. All right, let's go to something else. Traffic out there.
Oh man, traffic is pretty crazy right now. It's cold, it's snowy all over the place. Everybody's got to go to and from work right now and school. But you know what? The days are getting a little brighter every day, so that's something. Also, I'm wearing my penguin snow MeUndies in honor of the snowy weather, and they're pretty soft. Back to you.
I've got teal ones with mushrooms on them. They're always in rotation. I love these little boys. It looks like I'm wearing Mario Land on my pants.
I literally have, like, in the drawer, like, 3 stacks of MeUndies.
Same.
That
Big same.
Yeah, and I just, like, look through, I'm like, what are we feeling today? And then just, like, rotate seasonal. I'm like, here we go. We got the Christmas, winter ones. Like, put those on the top. And it's like, all right, that's over. Put them back on the bottom.
The
like,
thing is I clearly had a time period where I wanted boxers more than boxer briefs. Now I'm definitely a boxer brief guy. But I have some boxers, some boxer briefs, and I don't think about it, so I'll just grab one, and every day is a surprise.
I still just like boxers.
I get it. Boxers are great, but for some reason I like a good boxer brief now. That's where I'm at. You know what it is? I like a firm tush. What can I say?
Huh.
I like to look back there and be like,
firm
ooh,
tush.
that's a nice, you got a nice butt back there, Cox. All right. Yeah.
I just get that from doing leg day.
Well, I need MeUndies, okay? Deal with it.
That's the traffic.
All right, let's go to weather.
Weather. Mm-hmm. We've got a weather request for Faroe Islands, second largest city in the small archipelago in the middle of the Atlantic that I call home. It's also a country that consists of 50,000 people. One cool thing about my hometown is that it was what I think was the largest fish hook in the world at one point, or it has. It's still there, but I think larger ones have been made elsewhere. Also, our country has the world's first underwater roundabout, underground, under the ocean, not actually in the water. That's kind of neat, but what our country's most known for is killing pilot whales.
I'm blown away. I was unaware that y'all were just hanging out between Scotland and Iceland and Norway. Just like right in the middle there. I'll be honest. I'm shocked that we have. Were you born there? All right, I have so many questions for this writer and our listener. Like, I'm like, this place is crazy looking. It looks like somewhere you'd go in an RPG.
Let's see. Wow, it actually does. Wow, well, currently it is 43 degrees Fahrenheit, light rain, and it feels like 39. Humidity 96%, probably because it's raining. Pressure 29.75 inches. Visibility 3 miles, 9:22 a.m. sunrise, 3:53 p.m. sunset. Winds 8 miles an hour, 2.42 UV index 0, and a waning gibbous moon phase. Checking the 10-day. Bleep, blap, blap. Monday, 45 clouds. Tuesday, 41 showers. Wednesday, 38 cloudy. Thursday, 41 p.m. showers. Friday, 41 rain, wind. Saturday, 42 showers, wind. Sunday, p.m. showers. And Monday, 42 with showers.
I'm trying to find what I guess would be the big city on this. I just, everything is one road.
Yeah, I see that. It's all on the Jerry-Agoda, and then turns into the Orgiver. And you got your Sangavgur.
Yep. I'm guessing it's Torshavn? Like sort of, I don't even know, south of main Faroe Island. It seems like an actual city, but again, that's all relative. It seems much bigger than everywhere else. Plus, there's actually restaurants.
Yeah, Klaksvik's got the Railiak Klaksvik, which is a pizza place, as we've seen numerous times.
Yo, I want to go to the Tarv. It's a grill house. This place looks awesome.
Tarv?
But all the videos are just like one Asian dude in a turtleneck, just like living his best life, and I'm kind of here for it.
I think all the main stuff's in the town. Wait, there's Amaranth.
She gets around. She's everywhere.
Yep. It's looks like some sort of deli. They got sandwiches. They got some breakfast stuff.
Whoa, there's
bakery.
there's a bunch of bakeries, and all the bakeries. This just goes to show the quality of the bakeries. All of them are like 5-star, 4.9. And they're just like a dude's home, from what I can see. Every single one of them, I look at the food, I'm like, my God, it's so clear how like completely screwed we're getting here in the States.
This one's Frioa Coffee House. I take it they got coffee. There's a seagull eating the leftovers. That's how you know it's good. They got, wow, everything looks good here.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like
I'm
right
looking
on the
at
water.
one, Katrina Christensen. I don't even know. Like, the menu is super small, and everything there looks so good. Even the two waitresses. Everyone looks great. Yeah, I would be very happy getting around here for like 3 days, and then I'd be like, that's it. This is all. I'm already bored.
However, Molly's Bar, only 2.5 stars.
Yeah, that sounds right.
There's a 4 and a 1-star review.
I wonder.
I've been here a few times, and every time I hate it. Music's way too loud. You can't hear anyone. Plus, it costs a lot.
Man, I'm so curious because I'm looking at a lot of the restaurants, and this is a territory of the Kingdom of Denmark, but between Oslo, Scotland, Ireland, and Iceland, and a lot of Irish pubs. Like, I wonder, is there a big tourist season where, you know, if you go to a place that has, like, for example, a lot of Irish tourists, there might be a bunch of Irish pubs, right? I don't know. I'm very curious. It's fascinating, whatever this is. A lot of the restaurants, though, the restaurants look like they are a place where 20 years ago fish would be gutted, but now are these beautiful restaurants, and every dish, I'm clicking every restaurant, dude. Every dish looks like a work of art.
It really does.
It's shocking. I don't even know how to say the names of these restaurants. Like, there's one place, Shiva Backhouse. It could be. It could just be like a little cheesy bar, but every dish looks incredible.
Yeah. No, it's
Crazy.
I love this place. This is great.
Yeah. I'm shocked we have audience here. We got to get them to get us to come out there. So, all right, you're not going to go, but I'll go.
Yeah, he'll go. Well, that's the weather.
All right, what's going on, sports?
Sports. Oh boy, sports. Currently, we got sports. We've got NFL playoffs.
Playoffs?
Currently, the Chiefs have won. The Eagles have won. The Commanders upset the Lions. And the Ravens and Bills are currently tied 7-7 in the first quarter as we're recording this. Then we've got the NBA standings, which probably similar to last week. We've got the... Oh, no, wait. We've got the... oh, wait, no. That was the wrong one. It is still the Cleveland Cavaliers up top. Boston right behind them. And you got the Thunder up top with the Rockets and the Grizzlies right behind them. Then you've got the college football championship coming up. Notre Dame, Ohio State. That'll be a thing. They were like the 6 and the 7 seed or something. They were like some pretty low seeds. Then you got the hockey standings. We got Washington Capitals up top, Maple Leafs in second, and you got the Winnipeg Jets up top with the Golden Knights and the Oilers tied in second. And baseball, the Dodgers keep signing literally everyone, and they'll probably win because there's no salary cap, and there probably should be. That's sports.
Okay. What is our fact of the day?
Fact of the day. The oldest cat ever recorded was a mixed tabby cat named Cream Puff. At the time of her death in 2005, she was 38 years old in 3 days.
Whew.
Damn, that's an old cat.
That is an old cat.
Yeah. And it's like we talked about earlier, the name. They weren't like Sarah or something. They were Cream Puff, showing that odd names give the cats superpowers to live longer.
It's true.
Yep.
Yeah, a
There's
cat
numerous
named
studies.
Phil, not going to make it.
Yep. Numerous studies prove this. My sources, I don't have them, but I know. That's your fact of the day.
All right. Has anyone come to us with tears in their eyes?
Dear illustrious sirs, I come to you with tears in my eyes. Would you grace us with the story of the first time you met, became aware of each other? What events brought you together to create one of the most iconic duos?
That's true. That's a true statement, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
I believe legend has it that I reached out to you in regards to making a WoW Machinima-y thing for a stupid parody song that I wrote way back in the day.
Yes, that is what it was.
The thing is I don't recall if we had met before that was the impetus for me reaching out. Like if you were on the podcast or like there was clearly something. Otherwise, I don't know why I would have just been like, that's the guy I want to talk to.
Yeah, I don't, because, like, why did you reach out for my YouTube editing skills?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. But very clearly that something inspired that. But the first time we actually worked together and the first time we actually were like, hey, let's do something was that. Was that OMFG Kata old school stuff. Yeah.
Because I remember you messaged me in YouTube messages.
Yep, back when people actually only use that.
Yeah. I don't even think that exists anymore.
Yeah, I don't think you can message someone.
Yeah. I mean, probably because there's numerous other ways to message people on any other social media.
You are right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that was that. And then I think the first time we actually ever met was BlizzCon, where we had
that infamous
shitty
photo
picture.
where the two of us looked like baby children.
Yeah. So yeah, really just great times. So I think after that, then we started doing Let's Play stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
and if this podcast is because we did Saints Row and literally said all we're doing is a podcast while we play this game, so we might as well just make a podcast.
yeah.
And that's it. I mean, it's really not that. Like, I wish there was a more dramatic story, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Which is still insane because I get people all the time. They're like, I started watching you because of Saints Row like 15 years ago. Whatever this shit is. I'm like, oh my God.
Yep.
It is. Yes. So, all right, here we go. Next one. Dear illustrious sirs, with tears in my eyes, during your most recent episode of the podcast, you discussed creating Monster Hunter game where you play as the monsters. Crendor brought up different rat types, so I ask, what are other unique monster hybrids you'd create to put in a Monster Hunter game?
Oh, well, so obviously we have all the monsters that already exist. Right? With Monster Hunter, so you're playing as the monsters that you know and love. Honestly, I think you should have to work your way up to being like a Rathalos. You start as one of the little tiny stupid monsters that people just kill for fun. Then you have to like work your way up. But if we're talking about adding monsters, I would love to add monsters from other franchises. You know, because
Like
Monster
what?
Hunter loves doing fun stuff. But, you know, taking famous monsters from other, like a behemoth from Final Fantasy. Or,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like that kind of stuff. Adding them in. And then I think it'd be fun to add in, you know, other things like the Predator, right? Add in things.
Yeah.
You know, like that.
You would make like collaborations with other games.
Yes,
to be
yes,
like,
yes.
We'll let you play as the monster.
Yeah, which I know sounds exactly like Dead by Daylight, and that's because it probably would be. Yeah.
Well, there's people that are like, there's games like that, but there's no like true game like that, right? There's that one everyone kept mentioning. It was what was it called? Like Evolve.
Yes,
Or-
and Evolve's fun, but Evolve is you're a monster and you evolve as a monster. You're a monster who is a monster. You don't evolve. You just like kill people and then wear their flesh and bones.
Plus, wasn't Evolve like multiplayer?
Yeah, I mean, same thing with Dead by like the whole idea of it being one versus many.
Yeah, like this wouldn't be multiplayer.
No,
this would be
this is Monster
like
Hunter.
This is Monster Hunter, but the humans, you're killing because they're fighting you,
Yeah.
and then you're killing them, and you're like leveling up from beating them as the monster, and new parties come in, and like obviously there'd be a variety of different party types. They're using different weapons, different gear, and you're just like, oh shit, and you gotta use your unbelievable monster abilities to kill them.
Yeah, the best way
It's
to think about it
reversed.
would be you are one of the monsters in Dark Souls. You're one of the bosses. And some idiot keeps coming back over and over and over and over again, and you just kill him because you're the monster. And then you, instead of it being like, well, he's dead, and I guess I'll just go back to waiting for another guy to show, like you know, take their body, and what are you going to do with that armor and that weapon they have? Could you hang it up in your cave? Could you, like, use it in your teeth so now you're like that dog that has the sword in its mouth, and you're running around stabbing people? You can do whatever. Like, that's what I want.
Yeah, and then maybe you get different, like when you get better and stronger, you get different abilities. That guy comes back, and now you're stronger. You're like, now I got my super monster blast, and you're just like, and then they
Exactly.
die.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
there's
love that.
So much potential. Let's see, I looked up. There's 10 bizarre mythical monsters. These seem phenomenal. One is the Hecatonchires from Greek mythology. Hold on, how do you say this?
The Hecaton. So it's Hecaton. I don't know the Kyries, sure, at the end, but I know in Final Fantasy they shortened it to Hecaton for the monster.
Yeah, like that'd be a cool one because you'd kill the people in the game and then they'd like morph into your monster body. So that'd be pretty sick. You'd have like there's one that's like a troll looking guy, like a Trog. He's got a big club like Trundle from League of Legends. You have that. You got it'd be like a giant boar. Always a big fan of boars. You just run around. It's like getting speed and be like, and just like stab people or run into them. That'd be fun. Maybe like some weird hybrid dudes, like a scorpion man. He's like half scorpion, half man.
Yeah,
I don't know. You could.
There's so many things you could do. Yeah, you're absolutely completely correct. Also, this dude is in a lot of Final Fantasy. I was unaware of how much this man was in, and also it's his full name. Except it's literally just. I thought it was just a hecaton, but it's his full ass name. And
So
they
straight up took it from Greek mythology.
100% they
Like,
did because it looks exactly like him.
Yeah.
All the arms and everything. So like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. There's so many cool things. You like a weird mountain. I see a mountain turtle here. He's like a turtle made out of rocks and stones and stuff. He'd like just be really tanky. You have like weird demon things, like dinosaur demons.
Yeah. And imagine you dealing with the fact that the NPC characters are jumping off of trees. They're jumping on your back. They're stabbing your feet, right? And very much like in Monster Hunter, sometimes it's better to run and like hide your trail because maybe they're too strong. So then you hide your trail and they have to find you. And then that time you can like heal up and do stuff and get ready for combat or find an area where maybe it's not beneficial for them to be, like a cave where it collapses and it could kill them. That kind of stuff. Well, it won't hurt you, but it would definitely hurt them. There's all sorts of ways you could do that.
Yeah, and then instead of getting like gear and stuff, like you would get abilities, but you could also like maybe get mutated skin. So you get like rough skin, so you're harder to kill. You just mutate.
Like if they hit you with a bunch of, I don't know, like lightning attacks, suddenly maybe your scales are electrified. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, look at that. See, that's what we're talking about. And that's our answer, which is really more of just like what kind of monsters do you make. But we just more went into the details of the game.
Well, I loved it.
I did too. And that's the illustrious sirs.
All right, what is our big news story of the day?
Big news story of the day. Some U.S. states not running on Dunkin' Donuts due to temporary supply shortage.
All right, I understand now that that's a catchphrase from Dunkin' Donuts, but I was like, what do you mean running on Dunkin' Donuts? What?
Yep.
I mean, okay. What do you mean there's a supply shortage? Actually, never mind. I know exactly what you mean. They don't make their stuff from scratch. They a bunch of stuff shows up, and then they put it in a machine, and the machine does all the work. Gotcha. Okay, never mind. Please continue. I was about to be like, how do you run out of ingredients for donuts? But I get it.
Yep. Dunkin' dropped the donuts from its brand name years ago. Now, at least across Nebraska, New Mexico, and some other states, it doesn't have donuts on its shelves either. Dunkin' stores in Omaha, Lincoln, and Grand Island in Nebraska all had no donuts in their cases Thursday and Friday and put up signs that their donuts were unavailable due to a manufacturing error.
What does that mean?
Tyler Raycar of Omaha stopped by Dunkin' in West Omaha early after an overnight shift as a phlebotomist. I don't even know what they do. Seeking coffee and a chocolate cake donut. What? No donuts, she exclaimed when told the location had none.
But I'm a phlebotomist. I need to have my donuts.
What is a phlebotomist? Phlebotomist. They process of making a puncture in a vein. So they draw blood. Oh, so they like draw blood and stuff. Okay. Cool.
Vampire was already taken, so.
Yeah. The trip wasn't a total loss. She said, as she was more interested in the coffee. Still, she was a little disappointed she couldn't get a donut. Hopefully they got more soon, she said. Throughout Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the surrounding suburbs, store after store confirmed there's a donut drought. Some employees chalked it up to a supply chain issue, and others said simply that delivery trucks had been arriving without the cargo that the chain is most famous for. Employees said they hoped stocks would be replenished by next week. Manager at the Dunkin' in Omaha said Friday that she could not give more information on the cause of the shortage, citing orders from Dunkin' Corporate. A manager who did not give her name.
This comes all the way from the top. We have no say.
It was a national problem. But checks of location in other regions found no shortage of the sweet treats. What's going on? Dunkin is one of the world's largest coffee and donut brands with more than 13,000 restaurants. The company, which was founded in Massachusetts, was purchased for $11 billion in 2020 by Atlanta private equity firm Inspired
there's your
Brands,
answer. There's your answer.
which also owns Arby's and Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yep, there's your answer. If you want to know why Dunkin sucks, there's your answer.
Yep. By the way, last time I had Buffalo Wild Wings like
Terrible.
a year ago, it's garbage.
Terrible.
Like real bad.
I can't believe the quality drop. I remember eating there as a kid, and it was like the best thing. I'd be like, dude, we're going to B-Dubs. And everyone was like, yo, can I come? Now I am like, I would rather get grocery store chicken wings. Where, like, it's a better quality than what's at Buffalo Wild Wings. And that's in the grocery store. They're like, yeah, throw it in the fryer for 20 minutes.
Yeah, like it's when I ate the chicken was dry. Like there's all this breading. The breading wasn't even like good. It was just kind of like, ugh. Like there's so many better chicken wing options that you can get.
Disappointing. Yeah.
Jack D'Amato, a spokesperson for Inspire Brands, said there was an issue with donuts from a single supplier that impacted stores in Nebraska and some other states.
What do you mean donuts from a single supplier? Shouldn't they be made in the store?
I guess they like come frozen and then they just thaw.
That can't be real.
Why not?
The fact that Dunkin doesn't make donuts, that can't be real. They have to make them there.
Okay, does Dunkin make their donuts? I mean, clearly they don't because they're getting them shipped in.
That's what I'm saying. Or maybe that's just the case in those states, which then goes to say a lot about how Dunkin feels about, the middle of America.
Wait, this says some Dunkin' locations bake their donuts in-house, but not at all. There are 3 ways Dunkin' locations can acquire donuts, according to TikTok user and franchise owner Amir Mohammed. In a video shared in August, he said you can A, bake them yourself in your own kitchen inside the restaurant. And I gotta click on the article to see more. What's B?
I hate that I know that it's like, A, you can bake them there. B, someone else in the area can bake it and then send it to you. Or C, probably you get them from like the corporate truck, the Cisco truck rolls up.
You can A, bake them yourself in your own kitchen inside the restaurant. You can have them delivered from a central kitchen, which you and other franchisees team up to build, called a CML. Or you can order J-Bod, which are disgusting frozen donuts.
Yeah, so there you go. That's exactly, that sounds like what they did.
Yeah.
Because if it's not affecting everyone, it very clearly seems like these central United States Dunkins are just shipping them. That is foul. It's a donut. The best part about the donut is it's nice and fresh and you can dip it in your coffee. And that's the equivalent of going to a Starbucks and getting like a Starbucks treat when it's very clearly they just open a package from a shipped thing and it was frozen and they stick it in their like really quick microwave and they're done. Like, I get it. Sometimes you're just there and you're hungry, but it isn't like Dunkin'. People are like, I go to Dunkin' every day, get my coffee, get my donut. The expectation, this goes back to when Subway was like, our bread is finally real. And you're like, bitch, what was it before? Same thing. It's just... Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go back to say what I said before. Anytime your favorite place gets bought by an equity firm, just expect it to suck.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to do stuff like this.
100%.
Just expect it to be terrible.
Previously known as Dunkin' Donuts, the company announced in 2018 it was dropping donuts from its name as part of rebranding efforts.
No, God damn, it makes me so mad. This is like when Kentucky Fried Chicken became KFC, and people were like, well, why'd you do that? And it's like, well... No reason, just for branding, but very clearly people were like, the chicken's tasting weird. They're like, don't question that. Don't question we stopped calling it chicken. It's definitely still chicken, wink, don't worry about it. Just like Dunkin' Donuts, no, don't worry about it. No, it's just Dunkin' now. We're not, don't worry about it. Don't, like, just eat it. Tummy, just eat it.
Or they just don't want to sell donuts. They're just like, we just want you to buy our drinks like they're a Starbucks or something. Which I guess a lot of people do, but
yeah,
still. phone and email messages were not immediately returned because they never are. Bears told the Omaha World Herald that some Dunkin' stores receive products from suppliers that are not up to standard, and he would not serve them to customers. He told the newspaper that supply partners had corrected the problem, and his Nebraska location should be offering donuts again soon.
Weird. Absolutely
So, yeah,
weird. The fact that, like, you can go anywhere into a small donut place and there's like a mom and pop making donuts.
Yeah. In fact, there's like I know some places, like some local coffee places, they literally just get like local donut and bakery stuff and just sell them from there. So it's like go buy them and then bring them there and sell them in the little case.
We absolutely screwed up as a society with this whole like, yeah, we'll ship them in frozen. Like there's a store near our office where it's called Wild Fork, I think. And their entire branding is frozen is better. And it's all frozen foods. And it looks like a restaurant, but it's not a restaurant. It's a place you go to buy frozen meats. And they're like, frozen's much better than... And I'm like, I did not sit through years of Gordon Ramsay telling me the opposite to be told this now. Come on.
Like, I'm sure there's some things where it doesn't really matter. But I feel like there's certain things where it definitely would probably taste better. It's gotta.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Unless there's some, like, food scientist that's gonna be like, actually, the particulates of frozen, whatever. Like, I don't know.
I refuse to accept that not making something day of fresh is somehow worse than shipped.
Especially things like baked goods.
Yeah, like because you have to put so much other crap into it.
Yeah.
To keep it shelf stable. Just make it here.
Yeah. That's part of and you get the smells of it all being made and everything. Like, yeah, I agree. And that's the big news story of the day.
All right. Well, that's it for us. Thanks so much for listening or watching or enjoying this podcast. Crendor, hit them with the socials.
We've got socials, youtube.com/Cox and Crendor podcast. That's where all these get uploaded on YouTube and where you can request weather and illustrious sir things. And that's where I get them from. So put them there, not anywhere else. Also, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud. We're on all those as well. Subscribe, bell, notify yourself. Also, we're on youtube.com/Cox and Crendor. It's where all the animations live. Also, there's our stuff. YouTube Jesse Cox, YouTube Crendor, Facebook Jesse Cox, Facebook Crendor, Twitter Jesse Cox, Twitter Crendor, Blue Sky Jesse Cox, Blue Sky Crendor, Instagram Notorious Cox, Instagram Crendor was taken, TikTok Crendor, TikTok Jesse Cox, now that's back. Cren Clips, Cox Clips on YouTube. Patreon Jesse Cox, Patreon Crendor, tweets. That's it.
Okay. Thanks so much. We'll see you all next time. And as always,
shake the rhino.
To be continued.